Hi, everyone on the other side of the world. I'm Precious, and I'm part of the 4 Degrees podcast, which I'll explain later in a couple of seconds. And we are a group of 4 people, which explains the 4, from the Climate Risk Lab under the African Climate Development Initiative at the University of Cape Town. And we are here. I'm here actually with some of my colleagues. So today we have 3 degrees, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves and then I'll explain also what we do, what we're going to be talking about. So welcome, guys.
Thanks. Hi, Precious.
Thanks.
Good,
Hi.
good. So we're going to start with ladies first. Cool. Yeah.
I'm all right with that. Hi, guys. My name is Yonela. I'm also part of 4 Degrees, and right now I'm a master's student in the Climate Change and Sustainable Development cohort, the 2024 cohort, and now I'm doing my second year of masters, and that's how we all met, to be honest, because we're in the same class.
Yeah.
And then, we've been buddies since then. And then, over to you, Philipp.
Yeah, it's almost been 2 years, which also which is quite stressful because that means that our theses should be done by now, which is not the case, at least for me. But yeah, I'm also we've been studying together.
Like, not me, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 80% done. 80%.
Ooh.
Pressure.
But yeah, we've been working on this since February 2024.
Yeah.
It's been quite a ride.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm for today I'm the 3rd degree.
You didn't tell them your name.
Oh yes, I'm Philipp.
By the way.
By the way, and I guess from a climate perspective, it would be great if we're all like 1 degree. If we could limit it to 1, but this wouldn't be great for the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's important for us to be at least 3 degrees. For the climate, anything less would be a lot better. But that's also why we chose that name, right? Because we wanted to raise awareness that 4 degrees or roughly 4 degrees is actually a bit more, according to the IPCC. I think we're looking at 4.8 degrees as the worst case scenario of global warming by the end of the century, of human-caused global warming. What we also call climate change usually. Precious, you'll enlighten us with the proper definitions, and we'll dive into that a bit more.
Yes, we're going to go dive right into it. So we're doing the same, just to clarify, we're doing the same masters. We're doing masters in climate change and sustainable development. And one of the reasons why we are here is to really talk about climate change. So we're going to talk all things climate change, I would say, mainly on climate risk because we're part of the Climate Risk Lab. But you will also see as the episodes go by that climate change risk is like so big. So we're going to start with defining this.
Yeah, what
and
exactly
what
is that?
better way than to go to the United Nations?
Yeah.
You don't.
And also what you just said is so true. So like the institute that we I always want to say like we work there, but actually like I'm just
We're part of
Speak
writing
into the
pieces.
universe.
The institute works on so many different levels of or like aspects of risk, like climate change risk to health, to biodiversity, to sports, to heritage. That's what you're also looking at. And over the time of the podcast, we'll have experts joining too.
Yes, definitely.
If you're like a temporary 5th degree.
We're always doing a 5th degree.
Because there's so many like super knowledgeable people at the institute that we can all benefit from.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to define climate change from the United Nations. It says climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. Such shifts can be natural due to changes in the sun's activity or large volcanic eruptions. But since the 1800s, human activities, that's us, that's like our activities, have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. And I think this will bring us to the name eventually. But that's basically the basic knowledge of what climate change is. And we are, the but has to be like cut in stone, that we are the main drivers since the 1800s.
And what main driver even means is, according to the best available research right now,
We are the
and
cause.
the IPCC, International Panel on Climate Change, publishes those reports every few years that are basically like a compilation of the available and best available science. And according to that report, or the science behind it, I think the human contribution is virtually 100% to the warming levels that we're seeing right now.
So we are the main
Drivers.
cause
Yeah, we are the main cause.
of our current situation.
It's us.
Yes,
It's us.
us.
not
It's
them.
us. Who's them? Some accountability, please.
Some accountability, please. And what you mentioned, Philip, on the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, it's like a group of scientists worldwide.
I said international, right? But you're right. It's
Intergovernmental, yes, it's Intergovernmental Panel
Terms,
on Climate
terms,
Change, which is IPCC. It's a group of scientists, a bunch of scientists, actually a lot from all over the world. It's the best science,
Renowned.
reviewed, and then it's like clear cut that 100% we are the main drivers.
Yeah.
So now this brings us to why 4 degrees? Yes, there is 4 of us, which is the other person who will be next to me when she's available, which is Pooja. She's also part of the 4 Degrees podcast. But Yonela did come up with this name. So it wasn't just like we were like, oh, there's 4 of us. Let's call ourselves 4 degrees. So Yonela, can you explain what does 4 degrees mean? What does it mean? Where did it come from?
Well, initially, it was it's the 4 of us, but joking. But in the climate change space, when it comes to like global warming levels, like Philip mentioned earlier, that it would be ideal that we're at 1 degrees. So what does that mean? There's things called global warming levels. So 1.5, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 4 degrees, and beyond. And apparently that also 4 degrees is like at the moment the standard high that we might reach at the end of this century, or at 2300. Yeah,
2100.
So
the end of this century and 2300. Yeah.
Where are we now, actually?
Yeah.
We're at 1.5 something, 1.53.
No.
SP last year. But last year was like 1.53. But we're at 1.43.
Yeah, I think 1.4 is roughly what we're looking at. It can always like fluctuate a bit. So
As the years go by.
Yeah, the long term assessments are oftentimes a bit more concrete. So like looking at the actual warming levels, because there's variability in climate and weather events on a year by year basis. It's like today hard to assess like how high the warming really is. But like retrospectively, there's like a clear degree.
And what that
increase.
That 1.4, 1.5, or 2 degrees, what it actually means is it's like how the current climate is compared to how it was before the Industrial Revolution. So now the climate is 1.4 degrees hotter on average than it was then. And then how now it's part of like our everyday vocabularies, because in the IPCC that initially agreed on limiting it to 2 degrees. And then
the best efforts
to like, so that leaves leeway from 1.4 to 2 degrees for them to increase it further. But as the years went by, they actually revised it to 1.5. So now we're trying our best as the world to limit it below 1.5 degrees. I don't know what will happen when it actually surpasses the 1.5, because we're already
it's
shaky
like work in
now.
progress, and then we continuous improvement. We work as we go, but also we're picking a lot of warming. We're picking a lot of we're doing so much for this climate change. Why? Because now if I am just walking around and then you tell me that we're just trying to decrease it to like 1.5, and then I'm like, okay, then why? Because what effect does it have on me is the main question that someone who doesn't understand what climate change is would want to understand. What does it mean for me? Well, if it's going to warm, I might as well put an air conditioning system in my house. What are some of the climate change impacts that we see every day, or in the long term or in the short term? It's like, so yeah, that's mainly what we would like, what I'm picking from this warming. What does it affect?
Yeah. So
what does it mean for the everyday person?
Yeah. Like us.
Yeah. What does it mean?
What does it mean? Yeah. Like, how do we, and also how can we assess that things that are happening in the like weather events basically are climate change related?
Yeah.
That's also not always clear. So a lot of times, like, it was super warm in Cape Town yesterday.
It was.
So surely we could say like this is climate change, possibly, but it could have just also been a warm day, because there've always been warm days. So it's important also to make sure there's, and you're working on that partially, what we call attribution studies, to like try to understand which like extreme events, like heat spells, floods, or
Heat
extreme weather
waves,
events
Yeah.
are actually caused or at least exacerbated by climate change.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of research has been done on
Has been
tropical
got-
storms, hurricanes specifically. So we see like a global north bias there, clearly.
No,
Wink,
but
wink.
it's true, because then you would understand climate change in the context of where you come from, or in the context of where you spend most of your time in. And it's funny that the first thing that came to me when I was thinking of climate change impacts was like the melting of the glaciers.
Yeah.
I've never been to a snowy area. The time I was at a country that does have snow, there was no snow. It was summer.
It's been summer. Yeah.
It was summer. So I've never actually experienced snow, guys, which means I
Same
might
here.
have to go to Stellenbosch next year. Because sometimes they do
All-
get snow.
all
Or
is to
just
do.
too.
It's
But
literally
yeah,
next
it's
door.
The impact that is seen very clearly is the melting of the ice. And this glaciers have been like, that warming has been causing it to melt. That water needs to go somewhere. When it melts from ice, it has to go somewhere, and it ends up in the sea, in the rivers, and then we have all of these impacts. So it's also cascading. But one of the impacts that I would pick out is like the melting of the ice,
Yeah.
and then in the context of South Africa. Yonela, you better tell us.
Yeah.
You're the South African.
Climate change in sports, the impacts of climate change on the skiing industry in Lesotho. Okay.
Oh wow!
There's one.
Yeah.
I've never been, but there's one lift, right?
Yeah.
To go
Wow,
skiing.
yeah.
I actually don't know if it's all natural snow. Like in the mountains in Europe, a lot of times, and this has been, of course, been intensified over the past years. The slopes are supported by artificial snow and etc. So that's similar to your air conditioning example, right? So how do we broadly trying to fix our a certain system by using methods that will further down the line exacerbate climate change. So the air conditioning is such a great example, because you use ACs to immediately combat or
And ACs lose
try to
power.
lessen climate change risks, but you're then contributing by emitting more CO2.
Yeah.
Unless we have
Very
green
people.
energy.
Unless we have green energy.
Yeah.
There is a lot.
There's a lot.
A lot to talk about when we talk about climate change.
What is your favorite topic on climate change, Yonela?
Actually, yeah.
Sport.
Of course. And which sport is that?
A little rugby.
Oh, rugby here and there.
Yonela is a rugby fan and she loves rugby. So when we talk about climate change and sport, she's definitely going to point out rugby. So
Of
tell
course
us,
I will.
what is the climate change impact on
Rugby at the moment?
No, not on rugby, but on sport in general.
On sport in general. Well, there's heat, which is the main like impact that people like sportsmen experience. So now, like there's cooling breaks being implemented, and talks of creating indoor stadiums. So that there's less outside influence, like sun influence in the venue, amongst other things, which we'll talk about in detail in the coming episodes.
Yeah. And there is quite a lot that we will talk about. How did, countries get to be together at the same? Imagine we're like 192 countries that are signed to this Paris Agreement, which we'll talk about as well. But how we have all these countries, how did they get there? How did they get to be like 192 delegates or 192 countries in the same room and then say, you know what, we are causing this and we need to do something about it? It's mainly also because of the impacts that we were experiencing, as different as we are in our countries. Like Philipp said, tropical storms, and there's heat, there is droughts, there is like extreme events, weather events that different countries would experience in their countries. And we'll definitely dive into that. But I just wanted to also clarify that we are Please clarify. We are from the same master's class, but we are in different areas. Like our research focus is on different areas, which brings the, like I get a little bit of that, I get a little bit of that. And Philipp, you're going to start and then you tell us, in the climate change space, what do you really look at? It's such a big space. Like
it's so vast. Like We've noticed now, like we're jumping around so much because there's just so much.
There's so much to say.
So much to talk about. And so my when I left my first job, I was working I'm a lawyer, right? As you know, I was working.
Big shot.
Well, so when I left my first job,
anyways,
my supervisor, my manager, the partner at that time, gave me a book because he knew I was interested in the climate, in environmental and climate change. By Naomi Klein. I haven't read it. It's called "This Changes Everything," and I think, from my understanding, I've only read like one small, like short Naomi Klein book, but I know she's not entirely, I guess, undisputed. But anyways, it was called "This Changes Everything." And like thinking about it, it really does. Like thinking of sports, like we're now, because of like extensive or like increased heat, longer like higher daytime and longer daytime heat, temperatures, even I'm saying even across Europe, across Germany, where I'm from. Events where, or like heat spells where the nighttime temperature doesn't drop below a certain degree, so we would call this like I believe a tropical night, so that the body can regenerate less. So all this like stress on bodies that of course then would even prohibit playing sports in the nighttime, like in the evening, as like a mean to decrease risk to players, for example. So there's just so much to think about. But what I actually do.
What do you do?
So I'm working on an adaptation related topic, and maybe we can also talk about those the three main pillars of like research and policy of climate change, which are mitigation, adaptation, loss and damage. So I'm looking at adaptation and how biodiversity adapts or will have to adapt to specific climate change risks, and how this is reflected in South African regulation and the legal regime.
Oh, okay, so cool. So that's like law, the biodiversity, climate change.
Merged.
Like,
people are doing big things.
People are doing big things, and Yonela?
What about me? I'm joking.
What do you do?
My research is around assessing the risk of exposure to climate change risks. No, let me rephrase. The risk of exposure to climate change in the realm of temperature to biodiversity that lives and that lives in and around coastal heritage sites. So it's now bringing two things that have been looked at differently, like that have been studied in relation to climate change differently, and now merging them because some heritage sites do have natural heritage sites where they have a lot of biodiversity in them, and then some are biocultural, which also have biodiversity in them. So other heritage sites are just buildings, but there's always biodiversity. By biodiversity, I mean animals, plants, and organisms, and like the coral reefs are also part of biodiversity. So there's that merging that hasn't been studied as of yet. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's what I do.
Do you know, I actually learn a lot of new things about people. I spend almost 5 out of 7 days of my life. And then I go like, oh, really? Oh, yeah. Philipp, what did you want to say?
What are heritage sites actually? Like, how's this?
Yeah.
Like, what are the sites that you look at?
Every time someone says heritage sites, I'm thinking of an old building. I'm thinking of, if it's in Zimbabwe, I'm thinking of the Great Zimbabwe.
And that's like the general thinking.
Yeah.
Because some heritage sites are just monuments or buildings. So heritage sites are like areas or places or buildings of extreme value that have to fit in the 10 rule criteria of the UN, and then that they assessed and then they regarded as heritage sites if they meet those criteria. So it could be they have like so much people around that, or people that interact with those places hold that place like in so much high regard that it can't be replicated. And so there's different things, but heritage sites can either be buildings or just areas.
Oh yeah.
Like for example, here in Cape Town, the Table Mountain is also part of heritage sites.
Interesting. So when you say value, we're not talking economic value.
We're not talking money.
We're not talking money per se.
Cash.
Although they can be used for tourism where you can generate money, but it's value that can't be replicated. That can be just attached to something tangible like money. It has to mean something.
Priceless. It's priceless.
Yeah. So maybe even house endangered species.
Yeah.
Some of them. So that's why like studies that look at biodiversity in relation to heritage sites are important.
Yeah, they are really important because I'm assuming that you would also want, because if we're not going to be able to replicate this place, we're also not definitely going to be able to replicate the biodiversity in that place. So we need to check on it.
I don't know if you guys remember the heritage site in Tuvalu. It's an island. The whole island was regarded as a heritage site, and then now it's the risk is it will be in underwater. I think by the end of this century, or somewhere close, and then now they've adapted to digitizing their heritage. So that's where the replication is, but they're more documenting the heritage to hold on to it rather than replicating it. Yeah.
So is that, will we then like live in a Star Trek universe basically with like holodecks, and then we'll like imagine ourselves being in Tuvalu again? That's like the idea.
That's sad.
I've never watched it.
I don't want it to be that way. I don't want to learn about a heritage site because it was once there and we could have done something about it for it not to be underwater. But I mean,
the sea levels are rising.
Sea levels are rising. The temperatures are getting hotter, and I'm like, I don't want it to be that way. But yeah, I do really acknowledge that it's very important to look at heritage sites because now look what's happening to these people. It's really sad.
Yeah.
What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do? I wanted to say a bit of everything. because I know you guys. So I'm like, I do have a video for everything. But my research focuses on climate change risks to health. So right now, because there is so many health-related impacts from climate change, it's not heat that I'm looking at. I'm basically looking at temperature and precipitation with relation to a disease. And this disease, I'm just going to say it
Say it. Because I can't.
Because every time I say it, people just look at me like, what is that? It's schistosomiasis, which is bilharzia.
Yeah, and this
There's
you
two
always
terms
thank
that are
you. You
equally
always explain it with something that also no one understands.
Which is bilharzia, but I call it schistosomiasis because of the area that I'm looking at. They call it schistosomiasis. And
What is it?
it's bilharzia.
Oh my days. It's
What
worms.
is the place?
It's
No,
worms.
what is
What's bilharzia?
Oh, bilharzia is it's a trematode parasite disease that affects usually there is intestinal schistosomiasis, which means the worm will stay in. It's basically a parasite that is in your tummy, and then it will be feeding on your tummy, on everything that you take or something like that until it affects your liver. So you might have like a enlarged liver because now it's affecting that part. There's also urinary, which is it's very common in the East African context. So now the urinary one actually does affect women's reproductive systems.
Oof.
But so there's two types of it, and it's a neglected tropical disease. By neglected, there are some diseases that a lot of people have done away with, in the sense that they either don't have the climate for it because it won't live in that climate, but also they manage to eliminate it in their countries. And this is not, so when we eliminate a certain disease, we forget about it in our country. If we eliminate cholera, it does not necessarily mean that cholera is not there at all, because some countries are actually having cholera outbreaks. So it's the same. There is a group of diseases called neglected tropical diseases, which also includes sleeping sickness. So it comes from, so there's a group of these diseases which are usually parasitic. And this disease is like that. And its main intermediate host, like the animal it will use to get to people or to animals, is a snail. So do you have something to say?
I was about to say, don't eat snails, guys.
So
I was about to say it should be easy to get away from snails.
no, it's not actually. Funny enough, it's not.
Yeah,
Funny
no,
enough, we love playing in the rivers and we love just interacting with water. And we also do have areas that don't have piped water. So we get our water from the river, and then, you're there getting your water in the river. Because now this parasite is actually very, I always think that these, the parasites, the viruses, they're very clever, because when it uses a snail, it does not mean you have to be in contact with the snail. Because when it's an adult, it leaves the snail and then just lays in the water. But it's so small. It floats in the water. It's so small. Like you can only see it with a microscope. So me just getting in the water, it goes on my skin, it touches my skin, and then that's it. That's all it needs.
So, and how does what is happening to bilharzia under climate change?
What is happening to bilharzia now is that there is a good temperature for it. There is good precipitation for it. By precipitation, I mean rainfall. There's good amount of rainfall for it, and if it fits that level or that, which is what I'm also looking at, I'm going to detect the impact of temperature and precipitation on this disease. So if it's a good temperature, then it means that we're going to have more people having it. We're going to have more of the parasite in the water. And if we do have more of the parasite in the water, and on another day I happen to go, it basically means the road to eliminating this disease that can be eliminated is actually, like, it's getting far and far away, further and further away for us to eliminate this disease. And it also means if France becomes warmer because there is also a case of one person who got it in France. But it was mainly because at that point in time it was warmer. It was a bit warmer in France, and then there is all these rivers that connect different countries. And then it gets there, and someone goes to the hospital, they're feeling feverish, they're feeling this. The first thing they're going to be tested for is definitely not it.
Because they're not used to those
Because they're not
cases.
used to it. So they're going to test. There is a lot to talk about climate and health. It's not about me, but it is mainly what happens
It's
with
mainly about you.
it is mainly what happens
Yeah.
with climate change and health. And that is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at in detecting the impact of these temperature or precipitation, these climate variables to this disease or to humans. But that's just it.
Yeah, we'll have a specialized episode on each one of our research.
We should. I think it'll be fun. I really think it should.
We're going to start with you, Yonela.
No, they're really
gonna
start
ask
with me in the
Yonela to
meetings.
We're gonna ask Yonela to just present her proposal to us, and then we judge her.
Oh my day. That's where we stop today's episode.
But I think we covered so much already.
We did.
And, yeah, we'll continue to do that. I think every now and then we'll pick out certain events that have been covered by news outlets as well.
Yeah.
Like they could be like manifesting climate risks.
Yeah.
Like let's say a sports event that was cancelled by an extreme weather event. Actually, did you follow the Cape Town Marathon being cancelled on the weekend?
Yeah.
Because of winds,
Winds.
yeah.
Not putting this into context with climate change now, but clearly it's my theory, someone did not take into account that it can be very windy in Cape Town.
In August and September,
but yeah,
October.
Yeah, there is a lot.
There's just so much, and
There's just so much that we can talk about. But also, this is the reason why we are going to be doing this podcast. We're going to be talking mainly about all of these things. And we'll definitely talk about climate change in the context of where we come from. We are from different countries, different backgrounds, and we have different experiences with climate change. And also, it would be nice if you guys also do tell us what you really want to know about climate change. What does it mean for you? What do you want to know? Like, what really would you want us to talk about on this podcast when we say climate change? What are some of those words that you want to be clarified to you? What are some of those?
Bilharzia.
Is it real?
Is there
bilharzia?
is there a way to comment? I mean, certainly subscribe.
Definitely.
There should be a way to comment, right? We're gonna upload it on Spotify, YouTube for the videos as well. So
we definitely have all our social media platforms.
Yonela's our CTO as well.
Yes.
So.
Whatever that means.
I don't know what that means.
Chief Technical Officer.
Oh, yes.
Chief Technical Officer Yonela will be reading your comments and we'll be talking about all of this. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. We are going to carry on with these episodes. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel to get to know us better, to get to know the Climate Risk Lab better, to get to know African Climate Development Initiative, which is ACDI. When we talk about it many times, we say ACDI, and UCT, we call it UCT, University of Cape Town. So we're going to be talking about all of these, and please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on the things that you want us to talk about. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.